It had to happen. It has to happen. There has to be daylight between the two men. Otherwise, there's no reason, to vote for DeSantis over Trump, given Trump's poll numbers and the fact that he was a former president. You got to create some sort of a policy difference other than I don't tweet the way he does, right? And he's starting to do it. So now, and this is an interesting way in. So DeSantis, that is, goes on. He's doing sort of he's doing an interesting media tour. And it is including some local radio hosts and so on in some key locations, including in Tennessee, a conservative radio host, Matt Murphy. He said it, I think, just this morning. Here is the latest messaging.
So it seems like he's running to the left. And I have always been somebody that's just been more than conservative principles. And these will be interesting debates to have. But I can tell you, you don't win nationally by moving to the left. You win nationally by standing for bold policies. We showed that in Florida. I never watered down anything I did. I don't know what happened to Donald Trump. This is a different guy today than when he was running in 2015 and 2016. And I think the direction that he's going with his campaign is the wrong direction.
So, he's not wrong that thus far DeSantis is kind of positioning himself to the right of Trump, and Trump isn't totally disputing that in some areas. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, what DeSantis said there is true. Whether it works in an election is a different thing. I mean, look, first, let's do the abortion one, because you know how happy I am here in Florida. And it was in large part, moving here was in large part because of DeSantis and his policies. And I not only moved my family, but 2 companies and other family members and a whole bunch more. On the abortion one specifically, Florida had 15-week abortion ban. Now, we're a very red state, obviously. 15 weeks, it's basically 3.5 months, which is far longer than most pro-life or conservative people want. Generally, they don't want any abortion. But I can tell you, in a year and a half in Florida, I've been to plenty of Republican events and conservative events and events with DeSantis. I never heard anyone talking about abortion because everyone sort of felt, you know what, we don't love 15 weeks, but let's just kind of let it be. It's not what we love. But it's really what most Democrats would have said was fair, say, 20 years ago. Joe Biden would have said, safe and rare 15 weeks 20 years ago. Now the Democrats, want 8-month abortions, which most of us can agree is completely insane. So on a personal note, I actually disagree with what DeSantis did. I happen to be more pro-choice myself. I think 15 weeks was just fine. I think it probably does help him in the primaries because, now he can run more to the right of Trump in the primaries. But I do think in the general, it's going to become a problem because we know that the Republicans did not get that red wave in large part because of the Roe v. Wade situation. Now, the part that's just you have to be politically nuanced about it is that it's not like the president sets the agenda on abortion. The whole point of the reversal of Roe v. Wade is that it is now left up to the states. So it is irrelevant to someone living in California what Florida does on abortion. But at an optics level, if the average woman out there who tends to be more pro-choice, if she sees that as an attack on her, that could create a problem for him. So I can give you some on the border and some of the other stuff, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, he's got to get past Trump. He can deal with the general election later, I think, is the thinking. And I know this is a longstanding debate of do you go so far right in the primary to make yourself unelectable in the general? You have to be careful of that. On both sides, you have to worry about going too far to the extremes. But I do see a viable way for DeSantis to get to the right of Trump on abortion. And then if he manages to get the nomination, to then say to the general electorate, I'm out. These are my personal views. These are the views of Floridians. I'm not going to do a federal abortion law, and I'm not going to interfere in the states that are passing state-by-state legislation. So don't worry about me. That is plausible.
Yeah, I think that's legit, and that actually is the truth, right? And by the way, I was at an event with him about 3 months ago, I think, or maybe it was even a little bit more, when the Roe v. Wade thing was really hot, and people kept asking him about his feelings on it. And he was very honest. He said, through my faith, I'm a Catholic, I am pro-life. He said, Florida has the 15-week abortion ban. We'll see about that as we get through the legislative session. But he was making it clear that he has his own pro-life feelings about this, and he was elected governor of Florida. So he is allowed to do what he wants, and if the people are not happy with it, well, he's a 2-term governor now, so this would be his last time anyway. But the point is, You do what you think is right, hopefully as a politician. That's what we want out of politicians. Now, you may not agree with it, but I do believe it's an honest assessment by him. I don't think it was purely political, but I'm not inside his brain, obviously.
Let's talk immigration, because of course Trump, one of the main reasons he was elected was build the wall. That was the biggest applause line forever at all of his rallies. In the end, just ask Ann Coulter, the wall was not built. And though the immigration policies certainly got a lot tougher under Trump, just ask Stephen Miller, who we've had on the show many times. So there's no question that Trump cracked down on the border, but didn't fulfill all the promises he made about it. And now DeSantis is using the W word as well, building the wall and cracking down on the southern border, and sort of making the point that whatever Trump did or didn't do, it didn't work, because look where we are now. Now, of course, that kind of sort of discounts what happened after Trump, which was Biden. All right, you opened the door and said, come on in. So how do you see the distinction there of him getting to the right on Trump?
Yeah, so, well, let's first just drive home your latter point there, which is that you have to just go on the knowledge that Biden has completely wrecked this thing. Mayorkas is completely in negligence of his job as Homeland Security, and the Democrats have completely wrecked it. That's regardless of whether Trump or DeSantis is right on this. On the actual facts of this whole thing, Trump was going after DeSantis for not voting for the wall a couple years ago. DeSantis actually is making a good case on this. What was happening was the bill that was put up was that you were going to get a wall, but it was also going to give 2 million illegals amnesty. DeSantis made it clear, I am not just going to sign something that's going to allow 2 million illegals just to be here. Now, again, anyone watching this can have their own feelings on whether we should have amnesty, whether a wall is effective or anything else. But DeSantis is being very clear in why he did not vote for that funding of the wall. It wasn't that he was against the wall. It was that if he voted for the bill, then 2 million people were immediately going to get citizenship. So we can have a debate about that, but that's really what's going on here.
It was $25 billion to build the wall. So, I think DeSantis referred to this as like a pittance or something like that, but it's not a pittance. $25 billion is a good amount of dough. But his point is it wasn't going to actually get the job done, and we were going to have to grant amnesty to a whole bunch of people we don't want to do. So, yeah, I see that how that's going to play out on a debate stage. It's sort of neutral. Junk science. That is what the doctor called many of those fruit and vegetable supplements on the market. Junk science because they use extracts of common produce department fruits and vegetables with few health benefits. But I want to tell you about Field of Greens. Field of Greens is different. They use the whole organic fruit and vegetable, not a watered down supplement. And it's backed by a better health promise, which I'm about to tell you about. Each ingredient in Field of Greens was scientifically chosen to support vital organs like heart, lungs, and kidney health. Others support your immune system, blood pressure, metabolism, and healthy weight loss. Their better health promise is simple. The next time you're at the doctor for a checkup, if the doctor does not say you're looking healthier than before, you get your money back. That's a deal right there. So let me get you started with 15% off. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use my promo code MK. That's promo code MK at fieldofgreens.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.